is Unit 1, Greatest Integer Functions. Our objectives are understanding graphs of greatest integer functions, or GIFs, graphing GIFs with transformations, and solving applications with GIFs. Okay, the definition of a GIF, or greatest integer function, fx equals parentheses x, where parentheses x means the greatest integer less than or equal to x. For example, if x were 1.5, then fx would be 1. So you're rounding down to the nearest integer, basically. If x were negative 0.2, fx would be negative 3, because you have to remember that you're still rounding down. So negative 3 is less than negative 2.2. Okay, we're going to start with graphs of GIFs. So our example is y equals parentheses x. So your step 1 could be to make a table. So in this table, for example, if x equaled 0, 0.25, 0.5, or 0.75, they would all equal, fx would always equal 0, because in both of these, if you round down to the nearest integer, it would be 0. But once you get... Step 2 is we're going to plot the points. Okay, you should note that for each segment, the highest integer, you draw an open circle. Once you get to that point, the y value increases. So this is how we plot our first point. So you start at the origin and make a dash all the way to 1 and put an open circle. So this is showing that for all of these values of x up until 1, the y value, or the value for f of x, stays at 0. And then when we get to 1, the y value will increase. So how we plot our next point would be a closed circle here, a line over to this. If you keep going, then this is eventually how your graph will look.
Okay, next we're going to graph GIFs with transformations. So our first example is f of x equals parentheses x minus 3 plus 5. The minus 3 represents moving the point to the right 3, and the plus 5 represents moving the point up 5. Okay, so this is the graph we made, and you start at the origin, and since it said move the point right 3, you go over 3 to the right, and then up 5, so you move up 5. And then you plot like you normally would. So you draw the closed circle, and then all the values to the right, and then you put the open circle, and you continue like you did before. Okay, our second example is f of x equals negative 2 parentheses x. Since there's a value in front of x, the slope will change. So that's our negative 2. The points will be 2 spaces apart, and since it's negative, it'll go the opposite direction. Okay, this is what our second graph looks like. And so it goes in the negative direction, and you start at the origin, and you draw the circle, and you do it same as you always do. But then when you're drawing your next point, you go up 2 and draw the open circle, and then go to the left and draw the point. And you continue on. Next, we're going to solve applications with GIFs. So an application is a story problem. All right, our example is Lashaya Brown has a phone plan that charges her 10 cents per full minute. So basically, if she has a call for 1.5 minutes, it'll still cost 10 cents. How much will it cost her for 30.25 minutes? All right, our first step is to create a model. And our model was f of x equals 10 parentheses x. F of x equals the cost in cents per minute, and x equals the time in minutes. So step 2 is to plug in the values. So f of 30.25 equals 10 times parentheses 30.25. Using the rules of GIFs, 30.25 would equal 30 because you go to the greatest or the least common integer. Step 3 would be to solve the equation. So f of 30.25 equals 10 parentheses 30. So f of 30.25 equals 300. So our answer would be 300 cents. All right, this is Jacqueline.
And Annie explaining greatest integer functions.
See you next time.